The city looked peaceful from above, but peace was often a lie. From the glass windows of the 27th floor, the skyline shimmered beneath a low-gray dawn like 1,000 promises waiting to be broken. Cars streamed along the roads like thoughts in a restless mind, hurried, chaotic, pushing forward because stopping wasn't an option. Up here, it was quiet, the kind of quiet that didn't soothe but amplified the noise inside her. Onika stood with her palms flat against the cool glass, her breath fogging faintly as if she were trying to breathe courage into herself. Just another day, she whispered. But she didn't believe it. Nothing about her life felt simple anymore. 27. 5 years into a career that devoured everything: time, sleep, sanity, dreams. A relationship hanging by threads so thin they snapped every time she tried to hold on tighter. A heart full of love and fear, ambition and self-doubt. A head filled with everybody's expectations except her own voice. She blinked hard. Behind her, her phone buzzed on the marble counter. Again. And again. The sound gnawed at the silence. Her boss. Her boyfriend. The world. Life, demanding. She inhaled slowly and turned. Today was the meeting, the pitch that could redefine her career. The opportunity that could either validate her sacrifices or scatter them into nothing. She had chased this for years, dragging herself through exhaustion, proving her worth repeatedly because somewhere along the way she learned that women were expected to prove more. Be perfect. Be pleasing. Be unstoppable, without ever collapsing. Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached for her phone. A new message flashed. Jaden. We need to talk. Tonight. Don't cancel this time. Her stomach tightened. Of course. Tonight was also supposed to be their anniversary dinner, the 4th one in a row she was in danger of ruining. He had patience once. Now it felt like he was running out of pieces of himself to loan her. She typed back. Onika. I'll try. Today is huge. She deleted it. Typed again. I'll be there. Hit send. Even though she didn't know if it was true. The room felt smaller suddenly. She went to get ready. The weight of dreams. The office was a theater of tension. Everyone walked fast. Every conversation sounded urgent. Success lived here, but so did burnout. Onika moved through the sleek hallways in a tailored suit, mask of composure in place. People greeted her by title, not by soul. She smiled because that's what winners do, polish the cracks and shine anyway. Her colleague Amara caught up with her. You didn't sleep again, did you? Amara's voice carried concern stitched with exhaustion of its own. Who has time for sleep? Onika joked weakly. Amara studied her face. Don't disappear into this job. Promise me that. We're more than what we produce. Onika gave a small laugh. Tell that to my deadlines. They entered the glass conference room. Executives. Investors. Pressure wrapped in tailored suits. The air smelled faintly of expensive cologne and expectation. Onika stood to present. Her heart thudded. She thought of the years behind her, late nights when the city slept and she didn't, the countless sacrifices of joy, friendships she let drift, family dinners she missed, laughter replaced with emails and caffeine. A voice whispered in her head. What if you fail? What if you're not enough? What if everything collapses? But somewhere deeper, another voice rose, softer but fierce. You didn't survive everything just to tremble now. She exhaled and began. Her presentation unfolded like a story, alive, passionate, bold. She wasn't just pitching a project, she was bearing the fire in her chest. Her voice no longer shook, it commanded. Slides passed, questions shot, tension soared. She navigated each challenge with calm resilience. And then? Silence. The room studied her. A slow nod. Another. And then her boss smiled, the rare kind of smile that reached his eyes. Brilliant work, Onika. Applause. Relief slammed through her with such force she almost staggered. She did it. She did it. People congratulated her. A whirl of compliments. But as faces blurred around her, something unexpected stirred inside. She wasn't happy. She was proud, yes. Relieved. But beneath it, there was hollowness, like applause echoing in an empty cathedral. Success didn't fix everything. It didn't answer the ache in her chest, the loneliness she had tucked behind ambition. Her phone buzzed. Mom. Proud of you, baby. But remember, victories only matter if your heart still feels like home. Home. She wasn't sure she even remembered what that felt like. The cost of holding on. Evening bled into the city, turning lights into soft constellations against dark glass. She met Jaden at the cozy restaurant they used to love. The one where they promised each other dreams and futures under fairy lights and laughter. Tonight, the air felt different. He was already there, hands wrapped around a glass of water, shoulders tense. His eyes lifted when she approached. Warmth flickered habit, love, memory, but it quickly dimmed behind quiet heartbreak. You look beautiful, he said softly. You look tired, she answered. A sad smile. So do you. They ordered. Or pretended to. They had once been light inside jokes, sudden kisses, shared secrets. But lately every word felt fragile, like stepping on cracked glass hoping it wouldn't shatter. He finally exhaled. Onika, I love you. But I don't know how to love you like this anymore. Her chest tightened. Like what? Like I'm just waiting for a space in your schedule. His voice trembled. I miss us. I miss you. But I barely recognize the woman sitting in front of me now. You're always somewhere else. Work. Pressure. Expectations. You don't breathe anymore. And when you don't, I feel like I'm suffocating too. Tears pricked behind her eyes. I'm trying, she whispered. Everything I'm doing, it's for my future. Our future. But what good is a future if we're destroying the present to get there? Silence. People around them laughed, clinked glasses, lived simpler moments. Their world, however, was collapsing quietly. Choose me tonight, he said softly. Not work. Not ambition. Me. Us. Stay. Let's talk. Fix this. Her phone buzzed again. Her boss. Another urgent development. A follow-up she had to attend. She stared at the screen. Then at Jaden. Life's cruelest moments are when both choices hurt. Her breath shook. I can't. I have to go. If I don't. He closed his eyes. When he opened them, his gaze wasn't angry. It was worse. It was defeated. I believe you love me, he said gently. But right now, you don't choose me. And love without choosing is just pain. The finality in his tone scared her. Jaden, please. He stood. I want happiness, Onika. And I want it with you. But I can't keep begging you to remember me. He kissed her forehead. Goodbye for now. He walked away. She didn't chase him. Not because she didn't want to. But because she didn't know how to hold something without breaking it. She sat alone under fairy lights that suddenly felt cruel. Tears slid silently down her cheeks. And for the first time in a long time, she wasn't strong enough to hide it. When everything breaks. Days blurred. Work celebrated her. Promotions whispered around hallways. Expectations grew taller. But inside, she was unraveling. She smiled professionally and collapsed privately. Her apartment became a museum of survival, clothes thrown aside, unanswered messages, untouched meals. The city buzzed, her world dimmed. One evening, after another grueling day, she collapsed onto the living room floor. No dramatic moment. No clear trigger. Just exhaustion. Mental. emotional, spiritual. She curled knees to chest like a child trying to disappear. "What am I doing?" she whispered into the empty room. Tears came, not sharp but slow, the kind that carried years of swallowed pain. Memories flooded. Her childhood self, fearless and full of wonder. Her teenage dreams, wild, loud, unapologetic. Her early 20s, trading sleep and joy for achievements. People praising her strength without ever asking about her wounds. She wasn't living. She was performing survival. Her phone vibrated again. Emails. Meetings. Demands. She threw it across the couch and sobbed harder, not out of weakness, but out of the sheer weight of constantly being expected to be unbreakable. She cried for love she pushed away. For dreams she sacrificed. For the girl she lost inside herself. Then the doorbell rang. She didn't move. It rang again. Finally, she dragged herself up and opened the door. It was her mother. One look, and her mother gathered her into arms that felt like faith. "My baby." That was all it took. The walls inside crumbled. She cried like the world was ending. Maybe part of it needed to. They sat on the couch. Silence. Then slow words. "Talk to me," her mother whispered. "I lost him," Onika choked. "I'm losing myself. And I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to be everything everyone expects. I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of pretending this life doesn't hurt." Her mother stroked her hair gently. "Strength isn't pretending you're invincible," she said softly. "Strength is admitting you're human, then choosing to rise anyway." "But what if I break everything trying to figure out who I am?" "Then you build something truer." Her mother's eyes glistened. "You've been chasing perfection because you were taught you had to. As a woman. As a daughter. As a professional. But you don't owe the world your destruction to prove your worth. Your life is yours, Onika. Don't just survive it. Live it. Feel it. Claim it." Something inside Onika shifted. Not healed. But awakening. Rebuilding from ruins. Healing didn't come in a cinematic flash of clarity. It came slowly. Like dawn. She began with simple acts. She slept. Truly slept. She journaled, pouring fears, regrets, hopes onto paper. She reconnected with laughter, with music, with silence that didn't feel suffocating anymore. She went to therapy. Sat face to face with buried truths. "I'm afraid," she admitted once. "That if I slow down, I'll fail. That if I'm not impressive, I'm not enough. That if I choose myself, I'll lose people." The therapist smiled gently. "And what if choosing yourself helps you find yourself, instead of constantly abandoning you?" Onika started learning boundaries. No became a word she wasn't ashamed to use. She wasn't magically fearless. She trembled through growth. She grieved the person she pretended to be. She forgave herself for what she didn't know back then. Months passed. She didn't just survive anymore. She grew. Her work improved because she wasn't running on fumes. Her creativity blossomed. She began mentoring younger women in the office, reminding them what she once forgot, that ambition is beautiful, but not when it consumes your humanity. She still thought of Jaden. Sometimes regret burned. Sometimes memories ached like healed scars. But instead of drowning in guilt, she honored what they had. What she learned. What she needed. And then life tested her again. The collapse. A corporate crisis erupted. The company spiraled into chaos. Contracts at risk. Careers hanging. Executives scrambling. All eyes shifted to her. "We trust you," they said. But this time, something was different. They didn't trust her because she overworked herself into emptiness. They trusted her because she had become grounded, wise, emotionally clear. Still, the pressure was enormous. Nights grew long again, but she protected her sanity. She built a team instead of carrying everything alone. She communicated openly. She took breaks without guilt. And yet, something inside remained unsettled. One midnight, she stood alone in the office, city lights blinking outside. She stared at her reflection in the glass, stronger now, steadier, but still hungry for something deeper. "Who am I?" she whispered. "Really?" And then she realized. She had mastered survival. She had reclaimed stability. But she hadn't yet claimed purpose. She loved her career. But it wasn't her soul. Her soul wanted more. She wanted to build something meaningful for women like her. Women who carried the world quietly. Women who broke silently. Women who needed permission to breathe. The idea scared her. Which meant it mattered. Becoming fire. She made the most terrifying decision of her life. She resigned. Executives were stunned. Offers poured in. Counteroffers. Promises of higher positions, larger salaries, brighter prestige. "You're at your peak," they argued. "Exactly," she replied softly. "And I want my peak to belong to me." She launched a women's empowerment initiative. Workshops. Mental health advocacy. Career mentorship. Programs for women navigating pressure, love, identity, self-worth. A space where women didn't have to apologize for being powerful or delicate or complicated or real. The first event terrified her. What if no one came? But they did. And as she stood before them, women of different ages, backgrounds, broken places, and brave hearts, her voice didn't tremble. She spoke truth. Raw. Honest. Not polished. Real. She told them about nights she cried on her apartment floor. About loving someone and losing them. About choosing success and almost losing herself. About falling apart and rebuilding slowly. Women cried. Women smiled. Women whispered. "Thank you for saying it. Me too. I'm not alone." And for the first time in her life, she felt home inside herself. The return of love. Months later, life brought another unexpected twist. A charity gala. Crowded hall. Soft music. Laughter. And there he was. Jaden. Their eyes met across the room. The world slowed. He walked toward her. She stood still, heart steady, not desperate, not afraid. Just present. "Hi," he said gently. "Hi." They studied each other. Older. Softer. Stronger. "You seem different," he said. "I am," she smiled. "I finally chose me. Not in a selfish way. In a necessary way." He nodded, eyes warm. "I'm proud of you." Silence, but this time it wasn't painful. "Are you happy?" he asked. She exhaled. "Yes," she said truthfully. Deeply. Fully. And not because life is perfect. But because I finally belong to myself. He smiled. "That's all I ever wanted for you." They stood and shared peace. No bitterness. No regret. Just gratitude for the chapter they once held together. He hesitated. "Do you think," he asked softly, "there's still a chance for us?" Not from old wounds. Not from expectation. Just two healed people choosing something new? Her heart warmed, not in desperation, but in tenderness. "I don't know," she said honestly. "But I know I'm not afraid to find out anymore." And he laughed softly. "Then maybe we let life show us." They didn't rush. They didn't cling. They walked forward side by side. Not as two halves trying to complete each other, but as two wholes choosing connection. The beautiful ending. Years later. Onika stood backstage at a global conference, listening to thousands of women murmuring with anticipation. Her initiative had grown beyond dreams. Lives changed. Hearts healed. Women rising together. A deep peace filled her. She walked onto the stage to a roar of applause. She didn't feel hollow this time. She felt alive. "My name is Onika," she began softly. "And I once believed strength meant never breaking. I believed success meant sacrificing myself. I believed love meant shrinking parts of me to fit someone else's comfort. I believed I had to earn my worth by suffering silently." She smiled. "I was wrong." The room stilled. Strength is not perfection. Strength is waking up on your worst days and choosing to keep going. Strength is feeling deeply and loving yourself enough to heal. Strength is allowing yourself to break and rebuilding with grace. Her voice warmed. "I am not who I used to be. I am more. Not because life went perfectly, but because it didn't, and I rose anyway." Tears shimmered in countless eyes. She lifted her chin. "To every woman here drowning in expectations, to every woman breaking silently, to every woman told she is too much or not enough, listen to me." Her voice turned fierce and tender all at once. "You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to choose differently. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to become who you truly are without apology." The crowd erupted. And in that beautiful thunder of love and strength, Onika felt it. Healing. Freedom. Power. Home. After the event, as the world buzzed around her, she slipped outside into the evening air. The sky glowed gold and lavender like hope. Jaden joined her, fingers brushing hers. "You did amazing," he whispered. She smiled, leaning slightly into him, not from need, but from chosen love. "I know," she said softly, laughter in her tone. They laughed together. No rushing. No pressure. Just life. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply. Her story wasn't perfect. But it was hers. And it was beautiful. Because somewhere along the journey, she stopped chasing the woman the world told her to be. And finally became the woman she was meant to be. Rose, and that is the empowered life of Onika, raw, honest, broken, rebuilt, loved, and triumphant.